So I invite us to reintegrate now into our third session, inviting our presenters to share whatever was shared, the main ideas that were shared during the breakout sessions.
Martin, could we invite you to begin this process, please?
Thank you. Well, in the group that dealt with the process of reappearance of Christ and the externalization of the hierarchy from the perspective of material conditions, we had some very interesting reflections. We started about, I don't know, 5 minutes talking about money, that money is essential to the process of manifestation. We have sometimes a wrong approach to money. The teachings provided with the meditation to understand, to embrace better this energy that is very necessary to help in the manifestation process. And we saw that we need to use cycles and a right approach to planning and also to will in order to manifest better and to connect with the energy of money. And of course, most of all, it's very important as we act as distributor for energy in this field to be polarized at the heart and not just to focus too much on the horizontal field, but also keep the vertical alignment active. And of course, as we continue the reflection, we saw that giving is key. Giving is very important. The act of giving, the act of opening your heart is crucial for the unfoldment and the expression of the Christ energies in the world. It's also changed the sense of values and proportion that the person may have. And well, overall, it contributes, whoever you are giving to, it contributes to the whole. So it's very important to test yourself and see if you are giving enough, and if you want to do an experiment of maybe giving to somebody and see what changes, more practically. And from then there was some other field of reflection that has to do with the sacred places and the importance of livingness, the importance of humanity as incarnated kingdom. And from this angle, the reflection went on to consider that when we go to a place, when we live in a place, we need to, of course, to protect, to treasure, perhaps the holy sites, the places which are sacred for humanity, and also to be aware that we as humanity, we are the living incarnation of a living quality. And there's a synthesis that takes place when humanity is active on the material, on the practical fields, and it's also in touch with the lower kingdoms and the higher kingdoms. So in this sense, the meeting of human themselves or the human family in groups, for example, is not the same than thinking that we are there. It's another level of relationship, of engagement. And this experiment of meeting with the camera, trying to listen to each other, to hold a conversation, well, it has been a very interesting experience in this regard. Somebody said this brings the livingness in seeing. And of course, behind livingness, we have much to ponder on. So thank you. That's the essence of what we share in the group.
Thank you, Martin. It does feel like a group harvest, doesn't it? I think there's going to be an enormous amount to go back to and listen. I'm grateful that this has been recorded so that we can revisit these ideas, and those of us who were not in the one group can actually share what was discussed in the other. So thank you, Martin. Dot, would you like to go next, please?
Yes, thank you. Yeah. So our group reflected and conversed on right-human relationship. And there are five main points that emerged. One, right-human relationship demonstrates in times of catastrophes on this planet. Two, it is about love, not fear. Three, the inner is as important as the outer, and humor is key, and be kind to ourselves. Four, right relationship begins with each one of us, taking responsibility for developing the personal skills and doing our own work. And it was noted that group work and intimate relationships are a wonderful help and training ground with this. And five, we had a conversation about programs and initiatives that are reflecting right human relationship as part of this emerging story.
Thank you, Josh. It seems there was some synergistic discussions happening concurrently, that despite the initial theme that was presented in each group, that actually we were discussing very similar things. So that's one of the wonders of group work, I think, is that we're all tapping into the same field. So our group was exploring Michael's material and the idea of expressing the essence of the ageless wisdom and communicating it to the modern world. And the themes of harmlessness and right relationship came up repeatedly. Our question was, what does it mean to bring vision into action? And so much of our discussion revolved around that and wove in and out of ideas to do with imagination and application and action, how we cultivate the field for effective goodwill and work in the world. John said that simplicity of message is really important, that if we are to actually be in connection with others who are not part of the perhaps this esoteric community, that we need to speak in language that is easy to understand, which is basically love one another, do good in the world, find ways to connect. So I've lost my piece of paper here. Here we go. Nancy spoke beautifully into a question that Wendy articulated, which was to do about the darkness and the chaos that seems to be prevailing in the world, and is in many places, the great amounts of suffering that we witness on a day-to-day basis, often from a long distance, and how we actually go about making meaning of that and actually honoring the polarization, and acknowledging, perhaps is a better word than honoring, but acknowledging the polarization that's taking place in order to be able to do something effective to transform it. And Nancy said darkness is actually, it's acting as a pressure for change, and that the pain of the world is actually eliciting love. It's a call to action, a call or an invitation to us to actually help one another. She also said that we are learning to live together in love. It's a process. It's a process of some urgency, of course, but it is a process. We talked also about the greeting Namaste, and how, in terms of acting in the world as a new group of world servers, we greet the God in each other, and we greet the God in ourselves so that we can better greet the God in others. Sheldon mentioned the importance of actually treating ourselves harmlessly, so that we can then take that attitude of self-compassion and self-love outwards to others. And there was a very beautiful thought that came up from Martha. She was talking about how vision has to do with a level of attention, and how we have to catch things on the wing, really, so that we can then ground them into action. She talked about paying attention and having an exquisite sense of noticing, which is really about fine-tuning and listening. All ways in which we can fall into or step into a fuller expression of love in the world. There was a whole lot more, but I think that that's probably enough to start with. Thank you. What a rich process, goodness. Thank you very much for your very generous contributions, everybody. Alexander, I think we've reached the stage in our group process where we enter meditation and a conclusion. Would that be right?
Yes.
Yes.
I think really it took us a little longer than we were planning originally, but that's
Yes.
our first experiment, and it's part of the process, and we apologize for those of you for whom it's very late at night already. But saying this, let's proceed into meditation, taking the seeds that we generated together into our collective meditation.
And before we enter meditation, I just want to mention there are two handouts in the materials box on the chat panel. And one of them is a short paragraph on meditation from Dinah 2 that I think would be very valuable for people to take home, and also a very beautiful piece that I was going to include in meditation but won't, I think, because it's we've gone on for longer than we'd initially thought, but it's there for you to take home and read. It's probably familiar to many of you. It's Dag Hammarskjöld's piece on the dedication of the UN meditation space, the silent space. So those are there, and we'll just go quietly into group meditation, which will be slightly shorter than otherwise. And at the end of the meditation, we'll close with the sounding of the great invocation and music that will lead us out back into the world beyond this group. Thank you all for your attendance. So let us close our eyes and settle into the great heart of unity and gratitude and quiet. All the points of connection between us are bright and exquisitely attentive. We are receptors, listening. We have covered a lot of ground together today. You might be aware of some tension or tiredness in your body. Move your feet. Unclench your fists. Allow your hands to rest at ease and your heart to expand and open. We have also used a lot of words today, and will go away with much still to ponder and to process. So instead of entering a spoken guided meditation as planned, you invite us to sit together in this quiet, potent space for perhaps 5 minutes, just quietly, focusing in on the network of light. Our intention to do goodwill in the world. Our intention to learn to be in loving relationships with each other and with all the kingdoms. We'll just be together and quiet for 5 minutes. staying in this circle and attitude of quiet, we hear each other's voices, and too the voices of people of all nations, reminding each other, when the people make light the dark within them, the whole world lightens. Our planet is alive. Listen. Every created thing, living and dying, is singing. From your pocket, you take out a square of squashed chocolate. Trade aid, you say. You break it. Give 1/2 to me. You do this revolutionary thing. You give 1/2 to me. I thank you. Everything is about relationship. Together, we will practice the language of love. Together, we will learn the energy of restraint. Each of us is a small point of light. Each of us is goodwill, the touchstone that will transform the world. Goodwill is love in action. Let us welcome the stranger. For once welcomed, we will be strangers no more. There is no greater sacrifice than when a consciousness already expanded consecrates itself to manifest reality. Thy will, not mine, be done, as earth, as it is in heaven. Let inspiration be another word for service. And what is our practice? Whatever is needed. For remember, we belong to one another. Ours now are the hands and feet of Christ in the world. And we close our time together today by sounding the great invocation. From the point of light within the mind of God, let light stream forth into the minds of men. Let light descend on earth. From the point of love within the heart of God, let love stream forth into the hearts of men. May Christ return to earth. From the center, where the will of God is known, let purpose guide the little wills of men, the purpose which the masters know and serve. From the center, which we call the race of man, let the plan of love and light work out, and may it seal the door where evil dwells. Let light and love and power restore the plan on earth. And help us to do our part. Thank you. Gratitude to you all, and many thanks to our support team for their beautiful work today. And go well. Blessings on your way until next time we meet. Namaste.